Today's Ask Me Anything goes out to Rebecca, who says, how do I get my pups to have as much attention on me as you have with your dog? I have an Aussie and a German. Both are good dogs and have a lot of commands already. I don't always have the attention span. Well, it depends on the age of your dog. It depends on the drive of your dog. It depends on the overall relationship you have with your dog. My dogs and my relationship is very focused on obedience. It's very focused on paying attention, on abundant rewards, on also downtime. That's a big part. So that's something I haven't talked that much about, and I'd like to address it here. If you are always training your dog, if you're always interacting with your dog, if you're always on with your dog kind of gets sick of you, kind of has this overly, this nagging relationship with you where he always has to do something, he always has to look at you, always has to pay attention, he always has to do this. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got from an old German trainer many, many years ago when Goofy was a young puppy, he said, don't overtrain the dog. And overtraining the dog means just making it so nauseating. It's just do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. No, the dog will do it, but he's not going to do it with any spirit or vigor. And that's what you really want in your training, is spirit and vigor, like that. You want the dog to really be on when you ask him to do something. Otherwise, you just have a dog that's kind of going through the motions, and that might be what you're facing. I just purchased a 4-month-old Malinois. I did not research prior to getting her. How do I find a qualified trainer? Well, you made a really stupid mistake by getting a dog that you didn't research. And people do this all the time. You probably watched a movie or saw a little video or something and then thought, oh, I'm going to get that, right? It's kind of like getting what you just heard going by, like a Ducati motorcycle and not knowing how to drive a motorcycle. Never having been on a motorcycle, never even have been on a bicycle. Right? So you're in way over your head. At 4 months old, this dog is going to take over you. This question has been on YouTube for a while, so by now you probably got rid of the dog. So this answer goes out to everybody else. If you're listening, if you're within earshot of my voice and you can hear me and you can pay attention to me and you can have 1 ounce of logic, I encourage you, do not get a dog that you haven't researched. Now, if you're getting a little Labradoodle or a little Cockapoo or a little whatever, that's one thing. If you're getting something like a Presa Canario, a Malinois, an Irish Wolfhound, a major dog, a dog that can cause damage, a dog that is known for behavioral issues like increased prey drive, dominance, or anything like that, don't. Stop. Go to a place where people have those dogs, like a working dog club or something, and learn about the dog before you jump in with both feet, because you're not doing yourself a favor, you're not doing your dogs a favor, the dog that you might be getting, you're not doing the dogs in the neighborhood a favor, you're not doing the shelter a favor that you're going to be dumping the dog at. And any breeder that sells a dog to someone who hasn't researched the breed is a moron, is an idiot, is a selfish idiot who's out only to make money. That's it. That's it. There's no legitimate breeder of a dog like that who would just sell the dog to willy-nilly to somebody. That breeder is a moron, is an idiot, is an ass. That is something that is so revolting to me, because it's like selling knives to children and gunpowder to children. It's absolute, and drugs to children. It is that bad. Yes, it is. Hey Robert, I'm currently trying to train both my puppies to be crate trained, but they distract each other often. How do I train them both to enjoy sleep in their crate? Thanks so much, love the videos. Well, 2 dogs the same age is going to be an issue. They're going to bounce off each other. Even 2 dogs different ages, 2 adolescent dogs are going to bounce off each other and play and pay attention to each other. It's like managing 2 kids. It's harder. It's actually even harder with 2 dogs because they don't mature at all. They just kind of stay at that weird adolescent phase. So it's a couple of things you can do. One is make sure they're tired before you put them in their crate. That's a good thing, but it's not always possible. The other thing is put the crates in separate areas of the house, because that will make your job a lot easier. If the dogs can't see each other or hear each other, they're going to be more likely to kind of acquiesce to your will than if they see each other. 2 of them are going to bounce off each other. They're never going to get any rest until they completely crash. And then it's going to be kind of late. You need to get the dogs to settle. And you can do a lot of that. Goofy over here is not settling. He's acting like a lunatic. You can do that by getting the dogs to understand some downtime, right? Put them on a place command, put them in separate rooms, put them one in a room, one outside, or put them in 2 kennels or something where they're not directly facing each other. Dogs bouncing off each other is a really hard thing to settle. So what I suggest is to get on it early, structure, so that the dogs learn. I can tell Maya lay there and Goofy lay here because I've done it for so many years. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't happen right away. It's something you got to work, you got to finesse it. And once you do it, you'll be very, very happy you did. So I recently got a 2-month-old German Shepherd female, which I brought home with me and has been living with me for almost a month now. But before I brought it in, my roommates brought their 2 Cocker Spaniel mix, mother and daughter, 4+ years old, and had them living with us for a couple months. Whenever I have my German Shepherd around the other 2 dogs, the daughter usually growls at the German Shepherd, whereas the mother passes by normally. Would I still have to put their dogs first in their situation, or? So, good question. But the answer to that is, growling and aggression, it's not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. And that dog should be corrected for growling or for acting out. So that's going to be your job. You're going to need to get onto that dog, especially a young puppy. A young puppy is asserting itself. The mother's not doing anything about it. That's your job. Get in there. Give the dog a correction. Give the dog some structure. The dog should learn, hey, sit there. My dog's going to pass by 4 times. When you growl, you get corrected. When the dog lets the other dog pass by, you give the dog a reward, you give the dog structure. But it's the puppy that you're going to need to structure, and you're going to need to make sure the puppy understands what is and what's not acceptable. And growling is never acceptable, not only for your dog, but for any other dog. The dog is learning bad habits, it's going to make bad decisions, and it's going to get itself hurt. In actuality, the mother should correct that dog, but the mother is not correcting it. So you or your roommate, the owner of that dog, should be stepping in to correct it. Aggression is never tolerated. It's not acceptable. And the faster you can get in there and fix that, the better off it's going to be. Now, this question's been up there for a while, so it's going to go out there mainly to other people who are facing this kind of situation. You must teach your dog structure, and you must teach them that aggression is completely unacceptable. That's just simply the way it is. Got a question? Ask me anything. Also, check out my website, robertcabral.com, for the best online dog training available anywhere.